An 11-year jail sentence handed down by a Chinese court to a Canadian businessman for spying has been slammed. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has described it as absolutely unacceptable and unjust, and he's called for Michael Spavor's immediate release. The European Union says that Spavor did not receive a fair trial, while the United States has called the sentence an attempt to use human beings as leverage. Now, all of this comes as a court in Canada hears final arguments about whether to extradite a senior Huawei executive to the United States.
3 years after Michael Spavor was detained by China, a verdict has been passed. The Canadian businessman was found guilty of spying illegally, providing state secrets after a one-day trial in March. Before that, he was based in Dandong, the Chinese city bordering North Korea, where he organised cultural visits to Pyongyang. The case is part of a wider diplomatic spat between Canada and China, sparked by the arrest of Huawei's chief financial officer Meng Wanzhou in Vancouver. Within days, Spavor and another Canadian, former diplomat Michael Kovrig, were detained for spying. The pair have had almost no contact with the outside world since their detention.
We condemn in the strongest possible terms this decision rendered after a legal process that lacked both fairness and transparency. We maintained from the beginning that Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig are being detained arbitrarily, and we will continue to call for their immediate release.
Yesterday, a different court upheld a death sentence for another Canadian. Robert Schellenberg was found guilty of drug trafficking. Canada says arbitrarily detaining 3 of its citizens is clearly a retaliatory move, an accusation Beijing strongly refutes.
Our collective presence and voice sends a strong signal to China and the Chinese government in particular that all the eyes of the world are watching.
Beijing insists the detention of the Canadians is lawful, but it calls the case of Meng Wanzhou a political incident. Meng's extradition hearings began last week in Vancouver. The 49-year-old is the daughter of Chinese tech giant Huawei's founder and CEO Ren Zhengfei.